Friday morning. It is November the 14th. Rise and shine. This is Coffee Talk. I'm WESH 2 First Warning Meteorologist Eric Burris. We get together 7 days a week or so, chat about what's doing in the world of weather. Once again, my voice is not here. And I just, I, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. I'm going to take some hot coffee. I really don't know what to tell you. I'm doing everything. I feel good. But here we are. So anyway, apologies for the voice being the way that it is. But here we are. All right. Let's chat about what's going on in the world of weather. We are heading into a weekend this morning, a little bit of fog out west. Comfortable temperatures today. This weekend will get to about 80 degrees. And we look ahead to next week to an absolutely beautiful forecast. But those high temperatures still hanging out around 80 degrees. So let's do this. Let's get right over to our 7 day forecast and just get an idea of where things go. Today, 77, and we'll look at the day planner, of course. 77 today, 79 tomorrow, 80 degrees Sunday, Monday. And notice our Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we're getting even warmer than that. Look at that. Love it. Tanya says, you sound worse today. I hope you feel better soon. I feel fine. This is the biggest frustrating thing you could have. I really don't know what else to do. Our radio partners at Magic, Leslie Gale, um, said she had to have surgery at one point on her voice. Like, I really hope that that's not what I end up having to do. I feel like I'm fine, except once or twice a year, this happens. I don't know. I was talking to the morning show executive producer this morning. She's like, "How you doing?" I'm like, "My voice is awful. I really don't know what to do about it." So here we are. So anyway, I appreciate y'all hanging with me. And yeah, sorry I sound like garbage. All right, did have a little bit of fog earlier. That fog has since begun to burn off, so we've got ourselves a beautiful morning. We take a live look in at the first warning Doppler radar. It's quiet. Love that. I'll tell you what else you can do today. Stop talking, Chris says. But there's only so much, I mean, that's great. But if it's not getting better, I mean, I'm sure it will at some point, but like, got to do something, right? So, anyway, first warning live Doppler radar is looking great. Temperatures out the door, 5 minute observations. 57 in Orlando. It's 53 degrees in Leesburg, 50 outside in the Villages, and 48 in Ocala. So, we are looking great out there. It's a beautiful morning. It's an absolutely beautiful morning. Tad says to expand tea and honey and shut up for a day or two. Really, I didn't talk yesterday. Hardly. Joanne says on a Western Caribbean cruise, we've had 6 straight days of bad weather. Windy, cool, rainy. Star of the Seas is beautiful, but people want a sunny day. I can understand that. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that, Joanne. I guess that's sometimes the way that it goes, right? Especially this time of year, you could get those storm systems kind of marching on through. All right, let's talk about the forecast. And instead of it saying 12-hour line, fake intern who became real intern pointed out that when Tony built this, we never changed the banner text from what we templated. So it's just 12-hour line because this is the line version instead of the bar. 12-hour forecast. FREC. That's what I was like. CAST. All right. Save. Okay. 12-hour forecast. Looking great today. Up to 72 by 11 o'clock, 75 by 1 o'clock this afternoon, 77 degrees will be our high temperature. Lots of sunshine. Brenda says, go to the doctor and ENT. Yeah, I mean, I feel like if it doesn't get better, we're going to have to do something. Debbie says, sounds like it's allergy or postnasal drip. That's what I think it is. Get Astapro. Can you shoot me a message and remind me of that? Because I'm not going to remember. Fire sign says the cure is vocal rest, which isn't your job description, unfortunately. I mean, I really have not been talking much, honestly. So, I mean, maybe I do end up needing to go to an ENT at some point. I've got the thing. Matt says, I think you sound like James Earl Jones. May he rest in peace. Kelly says, my suggestion is make more soup, eat it, and then send me the leftovers. Great idea for all. Yeah, nice. Yeah. It's already not better. Surely Wesh provides medical coverage, says Tim. Yes, yes, they do. I guess I just need to go figure that out. I'm a guy like standard guys. We don't know what to do. The fact that it happens as frequently as it does, I wouldn't wait for it to get worse for an ENT. Chris Pierce, did you send me an ENT suggestion yesterday? If it if it gets better, Chris says. You're right. You're right. James says PTO is your friend. I had to use PTO yesterday, and I don't want to continue that. Yeah. Okay. Maybe I need to call a. Yeah. Yeah. Maybe I do. All right, Chris. I'll have to check. I didn't see that until late. So I didn't see it until like right around bedtime last night. So I'll have to look again. All right. Jackie says, when I lose my voice, even when I'm not feeling stuffed up, I found taking only a good decongestant medicine and drinking honey tea works for me. It's that hidden postnasal drip tearing up my throat. I do feel like there's some postnasal drip. Not that any of you guys want to hear this disgusting conversation, and I'm sorry. Yeah. Coastal ENT in Ormond is wonderful, Sean says. Yeah. Have fake intern call and make the appointment. Poor kid, fake interns in school. Boy's got to go get his meteorology degree. Aren't I supposed to be teaching you about weather, y'all? We're over here talking about. This is funny. This is why it's a genuine community because y'all are yelling at me when I need to. Thank you all. All right, so I maybe I'll make a phone call. Thank you, Chris. I appreciate you, buddy. All right, so it's a beautiful forecast. Patty says go to an ENT. Yes. All right. All right. I'm gonna call Chris's today and see. In terms of the forecast, remember average high temperature is 78 degrees. We've now dropped a drop. Very good, Cindy. Very good. Glad to hear that. So average high is 78 now. We're sitting at 77 in the city. So we're right in the ballpark, right? 76 in Leesburg, 76 degrees Ocala. Low, mid, upper 70s along the shoreline, depending on where you are. So that is looking fantastic. Make that change. It's said in the Michael Jackson voice, Frank. Yeah, I'm just not a tea drinker, is the problem. Everybody's suggesting the tea and the honey. I just don't like tea. Oh well, maybe I'll figure something out. My hubby had issues and went to the ENT. He had a deviated septum. Surgery fixed it. Go see an ENT. All right, you guys are selling this. All right, I'll give the one that Chris suggested a call. All right, so looking ahead to this weekend, temperatures are getting warmer. We have a weak little front sneak through. Basically, just keeps us dry. It's barely a front. Basically, it just turns the winds to more of an easterly direction, an onshore direction. And what happens is, once we get that onshore wind, we are able to bring up the temperatures. That's why when we look at the forecast here, it's of no surprise the temperatures next week climb 82 on Wednesday, 83 on Thursday. So then question is, do we have any cold fronts coming? And raw GFS numbers would tell us no. We don't really have any significant cold fronts. We do warm into next week. And then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we start to drop back off. Terry says, good, we achieved the suggestion for Eric's appointment to the ENT. Victoria says Jack Daniels Tennessee honey whiskey and tea works nice too. The problem is if I drink post bariatric surgery, it knocks me on my tuchus. You know, be sure to tell the clerk you can't work because of this urgent. Oh, okay, yeah. Good times. So anyway, at least for now, and again, where it says November 30th, Sunday, ignore that. I do want you to notice, though, I do want you to notice that Wednesday, November 26th, there is a drop off in temperatures. Now it's way out, but if you remember when we were looking at the BSR the last time, we did see there was a cold front coming around Thanksgiving. And lo and behold, it may not be a big, powerful one, but there's the day before Thanksgiving and there's a cold front. So we had talked about this a while ago, and there it is coming to fruition. So at least we've got that going for us, right? Right. So, hey, we've got that. Okay. Now, how big is that cold front? Well, we'll have to look. So, this is the current run of the GFS. Let's go back a run. Didn't really initialize that front as much. Let's go back 2 runs. Didn't really initialize it that much. Let's go back 3 runs. Didn't really initialize. So just in this 06Z run, the most recent run this morning, we're starting to see an indicator, right? So, okay, interesting. Let's look at the raw model data and just kind of get an idea. And again, during hurricane season, we track hurricanes. During non-hurricane season, we track cold fronts and things like that. So let's roll through time here. High pressure in control. Storm system in the northeastern United States. There's that weak little backdoor cold front Monday. Doesn't do much. Little storm system cold front around Friday, Saturday. There's the cold front there. High pressure building in. Yeah, GFS is trying to figure something out and it's not really doing it just yet. So, all right. At the moment, there's a hint of an opportunity, for a cold front around Thanksgiving. We had talked about it in the long range forecasting. There's a hint of it right here. Not promising it, but now at least the model is trying to sniff it out a little bit. We'll see how that plays out. Sending all the good vibes to you and your family, Victoria. Whiskey Talk with Eric, Nicole says, nah. All right. So that's kind of where we're at. I still think that there's the potential of seeing a cold front there around Thanksgiving week. We looked at it on the BSR. The models are trying to figure it out. But remember, that's about as far out as the models will go. So it's still guesswork, in terms of the computer models. But we are ready to track all the changes, and certainly we'll keep you up to date on all of that. Not touching that one, Tanya. Not touching that with a 10-foot pole. All right. So questions, comments, concerns, questions. When we start to get closer, we can really dial into travel weather and get you ready for Thanksgiving plans and all that fun stuff. Toby's asking, can we please see the BSR? Oh, want me to work. Okay. Okay. Nautilus on YouTube says latest runs starting to notice it. We'll see what happens ahead. Correct. And one thing that we can do is, as always, we can check in on the BSR. The BSR is kind of that hint. That's 30. Just a second. I just want to make sure that it's calibrated correctly. I don't know why it moves online, but it does. Documents. Give me a second. BSR master. And it's 40. Okay. Okay. There we are. 40 north. 40 north. Okay. Just making sure my latitudes and my longitudes are accurate. And then the Outer Banks. I just want to make sure the Outer Banks. Just south of 50 north. Okay. Perfect. Okay. All right. Perfect. All right. We are good. Okay. Perfect. Okay. Maps. All right. See, this is all this off the cuff stuff. Now, for those of you that are unfamiliar, we're talking about the BSR. The BSR is a non conventional method of forecasting. It gives us kind of indicators to look long range. So when we look at this together, just know we are eyeballing and kind of just checking out trends. It's a teleconnection of sorts. Okay. Look at it that way. Tim says, can you BSR for Antarctica? I don't think I can. I don't think I can. Debbie's asking, what happens if we all just pop out of Coffee Talk? Will I continue without us? Will he notice and rest his voice? Listen, on my end, my syndicator shows 0 viewers right now. Sometimes that happens. So if you all pop out, I literally wouldn't notice. I mean, the comments would stop, but Donnie's asking, is the coastal forecast about the same as inland? Right now it is. Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. Right now it is. Okay. All right. BSR time. Chuck says you're sounding a bit better. Hope you're 100% real soon. My next on air shift is Sunday, so let's hope to heck that I'm there. All right, let me dial this up. Okay. So this is November. So this is the 19th, 20th, 21st. High pressure. Perfect. That's next week. That makes sense. It's got a little bit of a front moving through and a coastal low. That's the 20th, 21st, 22nd of November. Coastal low, so the northeastern United States, definitely something there. Oh, Tanya, you're such a goober. Love you. Now there's a little storm system crossing the Gulf. That's kind of a crummy little setup there. That's the 23rd, 24th, 25th of November. 23rd, 24th, 25th. And that may end up wanting to be like a nor'easter, honestly. Could that be a floor Easter? 23rd, 24th, 25th? Could be. And then afterward, there's the strong cold front that we were talking about around Thanksgiving. That's the 26th, 27th, and 28th. There's the cold front showing up for Thanksgiving. Right around there. So the one key signal to look for is this one here. That's the 23rd, 24th, and 25th. Let's do this. Let's switch over from the BSR to the actual model. And I'm just curious. I mean, it's got a front and some piece of energy here. Let's look at the euro. I'm curious here. Not really. Nothing big. Just a front. Storm system. Yeah, okay. All right. So nothing big there. I wanted to look at it and see because, you know, the BSR is showing it, so it's at least worth looking at. But it'll be interesting to see. So the weekend before Thanksgiving, is there some sort of a little Gulf low that tries to develop? Yeah. Um, it'll be interesting. And again, the BSR is a teleconnection. It is not, the accuracy is not significant with the BSR. This is more geared to look at hints. Okay. And you kind of just have to take it with a grain of salt. Mhm. I like using all the tools in the tool chest, as you know, so we'll use it. It ain't gonna be perfect. Just one second. Looks like the tropics don't want to get active, Nautilus says. Looks more like a sloppy and severe weather type pattern. Yeah, that's definitely what I'm seeing. Thankfully, I don't want to deal with any of this tropical garbage. I'm. This has been, knock on wood, this has been a lovely, quiet season in terms of United States impacts. Obviously, it has been a terrible season for the folks in Jamaica, but you know, in terms of United States impacts, it has not. All right, so there's the Thanksgiving cold front. To that point, too, it looks like it would be almost like a good severe weather type setup for the southeastern United States, particularly Florida. So that's something we'll have to watch. Then there's another good cold front there. Pull up the calendar again. What is that? That's December. That's November 30th, December 1st, December 2nd. Little cold front. Yeah, I mean that clearly we've got cold fronts moving through. All right. So that's the end of the analysis part of the BASR. Read Tim Johnson comment out loud, Eric Tanya says. What did Tim say? You're going to make me read back? Oh, Tim says post a photo in the doctor's office later for us. To what? Betty says, Eric, remember your career is based on your voice. Go to the doctor. Wow, you guys are like, I always, you guys are like my mother, God rest her soul. She always would use that Jewish guilt on me. Y'all are throwing that guilt. I hit the wrong button. Sorry. You guys are throwing that guilt. Not wrong. Understand, I acknowledge you're not wrong in any of what you're saying, but also you're throwing that guilt. All right. So this very last frame is the analysis from today. Here's the so switching from that to the GFS, and it's kind of neat because you could see how the analysis and the GFS basically line up, right? I think that's kind of cool to do that. Like you see where the highs are the highs, the lows are the lows. Anyway, all right. So switching over to the GFS for the BSR, just to spitball. Frank says to prove you went. I know. I know. The ghosted woman on YouTube says, we love you, Eric. Sometimes tough love is the only way. You're right. I feel like we're having, what do they call it? Where you just trap me and you all just, Eric, sit down. We care about you. Intervention. This is a ear, nose, and throat intervention. That's what you guys are having. Tiffany says, stubborn men. 100% correct. 100% accurate. You are 100% accurate there. Please think of the kids, my brother Frank says. You have to be able to yell at them. Now instead I get right in their face and I'm just like, you know what you did. And you'd think that that would be more intimidating. It's not. It's not. Tim says we may show up at your house and drive you to the doctor. I mean, hey, I wouldn't mind a little personal service, a little car service. Debbie says call the ENT now while we are with you. Wow, Debbie's using Mama Bear on me. All right. That's a severe weather setup. When is that? That's December 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Chris Pierce says, I'm going to have to teach you intimidating dad looks. Tiffany says, chop off your finger and you still wouldn't go to the doctors. No, I think I would. Matt says, no doctor needed. Go fly. Sanford Tower, Mooney 9426 Victor. Like they'd barely be able to hear me. All right. So anyway, yeah. So early December, cold front storm system. Manolfi and I have been talking about this for a while. I genuinely think, though, that we are in for some active weather this winter. I really think that. Chris says, I volunteer to drive you to the doctor in the Cybertruck. I want to ride, man. Although I actually don't, because then I'm going to want that thing. I'll buy yours used when you're done with it. High pressure builds in. There's another couple of Gulf lows here. That could be like a dead front sloppy setup there for us. When somebody write all this stuff down. When is that? That's December 6th, 7th, and 8th. You seriously need to take some time off for coffee talk. Your voice is so much more important than this. I'll tell you though, like this voice that I'm using now is not, I'm not hard. This is not a hard voice. Like when I'm broadcasting on TV and I'm trying to force, like, you're not getting my big energy. Like, good morning, everybody. You hear how, like, I pick up my voice on TV? Oh, Chris, I don't want to think about that, my friend. Don't do that anytime soon, okay? Don't do that anytime soon, please. Please? Um, yeah, so when I'm on the air, I push my voice harder. So it's like 6 a.m. on West to New Sunrise. Let's get right over to meteorologist Eric Burris. Eric, it's looking beautiful. It is looking beautiful. Good morning to you. Yeah, it's so nice. It's that energy change. When I'm on Coffee Talk, there's no energy here. I mean there is, but it's just my normal thing. So this is okay. That's a sloppy little deal there. That's December 13th, 14th, 15th, right at the start of Hanukkah there. So, anyway, that's where we're at. Definitely looks like some lows. Yeah. You don't sound that bad, but in any case, hope you feel better soon. Thank you, Cece. I adore you. You have all of us for the energy. That's right. Linda says, I can't tell the difference. What, between my energy and not energy? Maybe it's all in my head, and maybe I'm the one beating my own voice up. Maybe that's the case. Diane says, so we get normal, Eric. I mean, I'm in a t shirt right now. I feel, you know what I mean? Like, this is actually as normal. This is the only difference between this me and like if I see at Publix or at Aldi or something, I'm way awkward in person. Anybody here that's hung out with me knows. Chris Pierce, I'm an awkward turtle. So that's the only difference there. Chris says no plans to leave until I hit 100. Dude, why stop at 100? Keep going, Chris. You're a renaissance man. There's no reason to stop. Um, Tim says in a t-shirt and not wearing pants. I'm wearing shorts though. I am wearing shorts. I am wearing shorts. Okay. Tiffany says my hubby stabbed himself in the knuckle. Probably needed stitches, but he said, "I'm fine." Yeah. That's it, Matt. When there's planes around, we're just nerds. We just nerded out. I still need to get this picture swapped out to mine. It's the same model, I just need to anyway. When do we know if you are doing the Share Your Christmas in Daytona? Don's asking. You know what's funny? I was just looking at the I don't know that I am, you guys. So December 12th, no, December 12th is Share Your Christmas. I am not working that day. As of right now, I am off that day. It's my paycheck day. That's good. I'm doing the morning show the day before. There's no Wesh on that day. So as of this moment, I am not doing Share Your Christmas. Does that change? I don't know. I just looked at it just the other day when we were talking about it. It's like, am I not doing Share Your Christmas this year? Does that get changed? I don't know. So I don't know. I don't know. You know what my gut tells me? I've done this a long time. Nautilus says getting closer to 40, and this is what entertains me now. Dude, I know. I mean, I'm 41, and I'm like, the older I get, the more that just things change in life, right? Yeah. But yeah, I've done this long enough. I know how this is going to go. They're going to come up to me about a week before, and they're going to be like, so we made a mistake. We made a mistake, and we need you to be there on Friday. We need you to change your days off. Tim says the schedule is always subject to change. Uh huh. I know how this works. Matt says I'm 42 this Monday. Matt, happy birthday, buddy. What am I doing on Monday for work? Sunrise and noon. Otherwise, I would say, Matt, we're going to go for a $100 hamburger somewhere. All right, Matt, we're going for a $100 hamburger another day, celebrating your birthday. Kelly, you too. All right. Questions, comments, concerns? Terry says, you're just a little nasally. You're fine. I mean, right? Who knows? All right. Questions, comments, concerns? Anything? Stay comfy. Okay, stay comfy. You know they will put you in. Well, I just know how this works. I just know how this works. Tim, come on down. They'll admit they made a mistake because they were about to get a flood of angry coffee talk. No, I can already tell you the way that this worked. My schedule when Kellyanne left, my schedule changed instead of having Sundays, Mondays off, they switched it to Fridays, Saturdays off. And I guarantee they did that without looking down the line and thinking about Share Your Christmas. So to that point, maybe I should reach out. Sonia's asking for the coastal. I assume Cam did it. Let's look. Cam did. Cam did that. There's a coastal 70 forecast. I would say I probably should reach out to the boss and be like, "Hey, just noticed this. I'd rather handle it now versus later." Right? Carol says, "Just show up and share your Christmas." I'm not just showing up anywhere at 4 o'clock in the morning. Honestly, like that's just not. Carol, I love you. I love everybody. And I do tell you to be the sunshine in someone else's day. But I'm not just going to show up. Literally, a part of me learning to fly was so that I could depart to go on vacation when the heck I wanted to, not when the airlines want to. Oh, man. Cindy says, yes, now versus later is good. Yes. David says, where is this place with the $100 burger? Sounds interesting. It's a term for it when you fly somewhere for a meal. They call it the $100 hamburger. Tim says, isn't the boss watching the coffee talk right now? Sometimes they watch, sometimes they don't. At 8:30, I'm guessing that they're probably dialing into morning meetings. So I'm going to assume that they're probably not watching it at this hour. They're probably starting to get ready for coverage of the day. Phyllis says, my daughter is grounded with her FedEx MD-11. You know what? Until that emergency airworthiness directive is taken care of, you got to do what you got to do, right? I would say that that's a good thing, and they'll get it fixed, Phyllis. Um, you know, Terry, are they still looking for another weather? Yes. So Wesh is absolutely has that job still posted. So if anybody that you know of has experience doing weather on the air, we don't. This is not a starter television station. We need people that have experience. This is a large market television station. So, yes, and we're looking for the right candidate. So, however long that takes is however long that takes. Joseph on YouTube, when are you doing the Coffee Talk drive through? Yeah, we probably are going to need to start that up again, huh? Yep. Fly up to Portsmouth, Ohio. Great little restaurant at the airport for that hamburger. Also know the chief cook. That'd be more like a, what airport code is Tim? You'll have to shoot me a text and let me know what that airport code is, and I can look and see how much that hamburger actually would cost. All right, people, that's all I got. If you're in Daytona, I'll come and say hi. If I don't have the kids, the ghost woman says, I'd love it. That's where I usually am. So I'm going to guess that that was a snafu when they switched my schedule. So I probably should give the boss a call and ask her about that. Probably. I'd rather that than like, Burris, we're switching your schedule. And it's like, yeah. All right. Listen, be the sunshine in someone else's day, would you? Thank you so much for hanging out for Coffee Talk. My friends, make it a great Friday. I'll post some stuff later today. But in the meantime, be good, take care, enjoy. Take care. Bye.